Hey, please, if you can share this video with your family, friends, that would be awesome. Without any further delay, I would like to bring on the one and only here in Houston, Harvard Petridge. Do I say your last name correct?
Howard Partridge, like
Partridge.
partridge in a pear tree if it's Christmas time, partridge family, partridge bird.
Or Catridge, right? Catridge or Partridge?
Yeah, partridge.
Partridge.
Yeah.
Awesome. Harvard, what a thrill. And I'm so delighted to meet you on here and excited about this show. And also those who are wondering, hey, how we can, watch more of it. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on Apple, many platforms. And we also launching Vision Television Network. Soon these broadcasts will be on there as well. And Howard, delighted to have you on this broadcast. You're from Louisiana. You grew up in Mobile, Alabama. And please introduce yourself. Those who are wondering who Howard Partridge is.
Well, actually, I'm from LA, Lower Alabama. So when people see the LA, maybe they think Louisiana, but I'm actually from Mobile, Alabama. I grew up on welfare. There were 7 kids crammed in a little 600 square foot shack. And the roof on that house was so bad that every time it rained, we had to get out all the pots and pans to catch the leaks. My mother fed us on $100 a month from the welfare department. I don't care when that was, it just was a lot of money. And I was a wild kid. I got in a fight with my stepdad. My real father left when I was a year old, and I got kicked out of the house. I had no money, so I scraped up enough for a Greyhound bus ticket to Houston, Texas. Arrived here with 25 cents in my pocket to live with my real dad that I only met twice in my whole life. So that's how I got here, and that's how I got started in life.
Wow, that is great. So, how was the Houston for you? Why did you? Because your father lived here. Did you know that Houston is the answer, or was the city because you knew somebody somewhere, and you wanted
Yeah,
to get away
so
from your stepdad?
I had met my real father for the second time right before that happened. And strangely, he and his new wife had bought me a suitcase. They had no idea I was going to use that suitcase to move to Houston. But my sisters had been here. One of my sisters was living here with them, and my real father was very successful, and I really didn't have anything going at almost 18 years old in Mobile, Alabama. So I thought, well, they're successful. I can get a new start in Houston. So that's why I came here.
Okay, that is great.
Yeah.
And you are you have, I think, work for Zig Ziglar, right? Is that correct?
So I have a business coaching
Certified.
company. I started my first company out of the trunk of my car when I was 23. Built it up after a lot of difficulties. I built it up to a multi-million-dollar business that's turnkey, which means the business runs itself. I have a great team, great staff, great systems in place, and people wanted to know how I was doing what I was doing, and so I started training and coaching. And I had Mr. Zig Ziglar come and speak at my conference and got to know his son, Tom, and his daughters. And after building a relationship with them, they asked me to join them in business coaching. And so I got started. My company became the exclusive small business coaching company for the Zig Ziglar Corporation. Then they asked me to do more and more things. My official title there right now is I am the executive vice president of training operations. And so I helped build a bunch of systems. I helped with their certification program. I still go there to speak and train several times a year. And Tom Ziegler is very involved in our world and our coaching process as well.
That is great.
Yeah.
I have read Zig Ziglar books and familiar with, and with his courses. Phenomenal man. And you have an incredible story, of going from, I think, $3,000
Yeah.
Italian money to making, I think, $10,000 or $30,000 a month. But then you felt like you're a slave to the business, and then you
Yeah.
went from on and on. So let me
Yeah.
first of all, also, as we're talking about your business life,
Yeah.
let's tackle your personal faith. Are you grew up in a Christian home, and growing up, was your faith in Jesus Christ was important to you?
Well, what happened was my mother made sure that all of us kids, all 7 kids, went to a Baptist church. We actually walked there. It was a mile and a half.
Yeah.
In the early days, we walked there, and so I always knew. I would have told you that I was a Christian, but I was living like the world. And as soon as I was 15 years old, I stopped going to church. And when I was 27 years old, I had an encounter with the Lord that just came out of nowhere. And it was just almost like a warning. It was almost like um, you have to change. And so I know that this doesn't happen to most people. So it's just how God worked in my life. And so for several weeks, I just had this feeling come over me, and I didn't know what it was, but I knew what I needed to do. I knew that it was somehow God was telling me I needed to change, and I knew I needed to give my life to the Lord because I'd heard the gospel all my life. And there was a couple guys working with me at the time. My business was very small, and we started getting out the Bible and looking at the Bible, but nobody ever did anything. And one day I was sitting. We were at one of my buddies' house, and I was just sitting there on the floor, leaning against the sofa, thinking to myself, if this is all there is to live for, I'm not sure if I want to continue. And so I made my decision right then and there. It was in Christmas week of 1987. Gave my life to the Lord, and everything changed. I became a different person immediately. My whole life was changed. I felt the weight of sin lifted off of my shoulders almost physically, and a series of miracles began to happen. My life has never been the same since then. So that's how I got born again. My wife ended up getting saved, and through business, I've seen many, many employees, clients, vendors come to know the Lord as well.
That is great. Wonderful.
Yeah.
You have written a book, but let's first of all, before we go towards the book, let's start with business. What's the ideology of, like, building a business? What is, like, is it important to understand the money, and why?
Well, absolutely, because even though I was a believer, I wasn't good with money. And, I mean, I grew up poor, right? So I never had any financial discipline. I never had any financial knowledge. Now, fortunately, my wife was always really good with her money. And her and my real dad had to bail me out a few times. I got my business in a lot of debt. But really, your financials are the health report of your business. And I know
Yes.
business owners don't like to think about that, but the fact is that um, that money is the fuel for your business. But my business philosophy is, first of all, you have to have good habits. You have to develop yourself personally. And then there's 3 levels in business. The first one is you got to have systems. So I wrote a book called The 5 Secrets of a Phenomenal Business. People can get this free when they opt in on my website. And in this book, there's 5 systems I go through: leadership, marketing, sales, operations, and administration. And then the second level is developing yourself as a leader, understanding leadership and how to inspire and influence other people. and how to lead yourself. And there's a difference between leadership and being a boss. And unfortunately, most of us get our clues about leadership from corporate America. But in corporate America, as I share in my book, my leadership book, The Power of Community, that uh, that in corporate America, 70% of American workers are disengaged. 18% of those 70% are actively disengaged, which means that they hate they hate their company that they work for. They hate their job. And so once you learn leadership, then you need to get good at building a team. And if you're fortunate enough to get your business turnkey, then you can build an organization which maybe includes several companies, multi locations, franchise, or you can just scale it up and serve in ministry. So you got lots of opportunities to do that. So my philosophy is you need to develop yourself, you need to develop systems, you need to develop your leadership, you need to develop your team, and develop your organization. And that's what I call the 5 stages of a phenomenal business. The five
Absolutely.
stages of business growth.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Phenomenal marketing system. So that's awesome. So
Yeah.
14 fastest ways to cash in any business. So I believe,
Yeah.
now in a society, as we going cashless society, Howard, where do you feel like the rise of cryptocurrency and also the cashless society and the current situations of America, how important cash is, or cash flow?
Well, cash flow is very important, and understanding not just your profit and loss, but understanding your balance sheet, understanding. Um, I have a friend and a client and a colleague. Her name is Ellen Rohr. She's a financial consultant. She's the one that came in and helped me to understand my finances so that I could get my business out of debt. So I was, about $1 million in debt, and through getting to what she calls KFP, a known financial position, understanding these dynamics, I was able to get completely debt free. So today we're completely debt free. Our companies are debt free. The only debt that I carry is on real estate, and all my real estate is worth more than what I owe on it, and we could pay off even all of our real estate right now if we wanted to. So we're blessed. As far as digital currency goes, I'm a business owner. I'm somewhat of an entrepreneur. I'm not an expert on those things, but as I look at the world, I look at the business world, I don't think we're going to be able to avoid going to a cashless society. I think we're heading there. I know that those markets have been volatile. Um, I've lost my fair share in that crypto. I've
Yeah.
made some gains in crypto, and so but eventually that's going to become the standard when all the parts and pieces get settled. How that'll happen, I don't know, but I believe that we are heading there before too long. There's just too many reasons for it. Whether those reasons are used for good or for evil,
Yeah.
just like anything, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, so true. Let's ask you a question from
Yeah,
your book. It's a difference between marketing and phenomenal marketing. Why
yeah.
phenomenal market? Is just a word game, or is there really a difference?
Well, so everything in my life is phenomenal because when I started my company, I was brainstorming with my nephew about when I wanted to help other small businesses. And at the time, I was selling manuals, CDs, DVDs, things like that, products.
Yeah.
And today, we don't really sell products other than books, but we do more coaching and training. And so the word phenomenal popped out. And so I named my company Phenomenal Products. And when I started doing more coaching and training, I thought that was a mistake until my mentor, my spiritual mentor, came and spoke at my conference, Wisest Man That I Know. And he said, Howard, he said to my audience, he said, Howard's products are phenomenal, but I'm here to tell you that you are the phenomenal product. And, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. We're made in God's image. So therefore, I begin to tell other people that they're phenomenal. Today, even today, I talk to strangers, flight attendants, hotel staff, restaurant staff, stranger, anywhere that I go, that I ask them the question, do you know that you're phenomenal? And you get different answers, and, well, yeah, or a no, or whatever. And then I say, well, do you know why you're phenomenal? And the answer is because, God made you that way. And
Yeah.
he's given each one of us special gifts. He has a plan and a purpose for each of our lives. And we can't truly be successful until we get in that lane. There's also 4 different personality types. And so I have these little bracelets that represent the 4 different personality types. And so I give away these bracelets, and the bracelet says, I am phenomenal. And the greatest thing is to give it to children and kids. When you tell them they're phenomenal, I mean, they just light up. And you haven't lived. Now, remember that I represent Zig Ziglar, and as the exclusive small business coach, as the director of training operations there, I have to know the Ziglar content and share it with people. And what I know is that Mr. Ziglar said that every human being is born to win, designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, endowed with the seeds of greatness. After all, God don't make no junk. You have not lived until you've seen a 6-year-old missing her 2 front teeth get in front of an audience or a camera and say, I'm born to win, designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, endowed with the seeds of greatness. After all, God don't make no junk. I'm a phenomenal product, created to be phenomenal, do phenomenal things, and have a phenomenal life. I even wrote a book for young people. It's called Phenomenal Youth, the one in the top middle up there. And because the fact is that, as Mr. Ziglar said, all human beings suffer from a poor self-image. We don't know who we are. We don't know whose we are. And therefore, because we have the false identity, then we don't do the things that we should do. And therefore, we don't have the life that we're born to have. And so it starts with having a positive self-image, not arrogant, not exaggerated, but we are who God said that we are. And if we, when we can get our kids to understand who they are and whose they are, our society changes. We don't have the kind of problems that we have today. So I'm really passionate about getting this to kids. We have a little youth program with inside my coaching circle. We don't invite the public into it, but and I also have a retreat that I do every year in Destin, Florida. I have a couple of homes down there, and we do a retreat on the beach. And we have our clients bring their kids, and we teach them the Ziglar philosophy of life. And so it's been just really amazing. So that's where the phenomenal thing comes in. So the word phenomenal means extraordinary, amazing. It means just um, sort of out of this world type of thing. And so there's a difference between marketing, getting your message out there, um, attracting prospects. Phenomenal marketing creates an experience. And so there's leadership, marketing, sales, operations, administration. Then there's phenomenal leadership, marketing, phenomenal sales, phenomenal operations, phenomenal administration. And the difference is that there's an experience associated with it. In fact, a friend of mine introduced me to the word phenomenology, which
I mean,
is the
phenomenology.
study of experiences, right?
Nice.
And so, in order to inspire people to, I have almost 50 people on my team. In order to inspire them to implement, the leader has to create the right kind of experience. Um,
Absolutely.
Phenomenal marketing is delivering a meaningful experience that engages prospects, educates prospects, and entertains prospects. And entertainment doesn't mean a funny video or something like that. It means serving them, right? And because all of business, all of life is about relationships. And so creating and facilitating experiences for people as you do business with them is what a phenomenal business is really all about.
That is great.
Yeah.
So I'm going to encourage people, they can go either on your website, harvardpartridgebootcamp.com. Is that correct?
Well, they can go to howardpartridge.com. Howard Partridge Boot Camp is uh, our um, our systems training
Okay.
seminar that we do a few times a year. But howardpartridge.com,
Howard
you
Partridge.
can opt in to get free business training. You'll get webinars, videos, emails, and you'll be able to get this book for free. And there's one other thing I want to mention on this show,
Please.
since your show
Phenomenal
is
guy. Since
deliver.
I'm
Yes,
phenomenal guy, right?
that's you. Well, you are. Everybody is, but people who know it and live it are truly phenomenal, right?
Yes.
But you have believers watching your show. Last year, I wrote a book. I've published 12 books,
Yeah.
but the one that I wrote last year is called "The Monday Morning Christian: How to Live Out Your Faith, How Living Out Your Faith in Business Leads to Phenomenal Success."
Nice.
Because the fact is that um, Christianity is a faith. It's not a religion. It doesn't
Mm.
happen just on Sunday or in a meeting. And when you lead God's way, and um, people don't realize that there's so much in Scripture about leadership and about business, especially in Proverbs. And so
Yeah.
this book is leads. Um,
What is called this book? And did you
it's
write it
called
or somebody?
it's called the Monday Morning Christian: How Living Out Your Faith in Business Leads to Phenomenal Success. Okay. And this book will show believers how they can not only be successful in business, but be successful in being a marketplace minister all at the same time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to encourage people that you can get Howard's book either on his website or you can go on Amazon as well, right? So if you
Yeah. I don't really sell my books on my website. So here's what I recommend people do.
okay,
Go to my website so that you can get free training. You'll
okay.
get this book for free. Then you can go over to Amazon and buy any of my books that you want.
Yes, awesome. Because on Amazon, I'm looking at phenomenal marketing, the 14 fastest way to cash in any business, and
Yeah.
then also the five secret of a phenomenal business, and then the Monday morning Christian. That's what you were talking about, how
Yeah.
living out your faith in business leads to phenomenal success, and then the other one is FTI, failure to implement the
Yep.
10 principle of phenomenal business. So think and be phenomenal and top performance how to no that's the Zig Ziglar's, right? So I was like going so fast and running into
Yeah.
Zig
Well,
Ziglar's book. So
I'm in that book also. I've been featured in two of Zig Ziglar's books and two of Tom Ziglar's books. So
that is
clever.
amazing.
Yeah.
So writing all these books, what was your really hard, what are you trying or thought that you will accomplish through writing the books?
Well, the funny thing is that this book, The Monday Morning Christian, was not my idea, and the first book that I wrote in 2012. So what's that? 11? No, 2000, whatever, 11 years ago. I didn't want to. I love to write, but I didn't really want to publish a book.
Yeah,
And one of my mentors, one of my coaches, sat me down. He said, "Look, you need to publish a book so that you can get your story out." I mean, people
yeah,
tend to love my story, and the people who coach with us, who are in our coaching community, it's really made a difference not only in their business but in their life. And so I said, you're right. And I wrote my very first book called The Seven Secrets of a Phenomenal Life. And it goes through the wheel of life that Mr. Ziegler taught us: spiritual, mental, physical, family, career, financial, and personal. And I share those in that order, not necessarily in the book, but in life. Spiritual is number one. Mental, even coming to know the Lord, we have to change. Repent means to change our thinking. And Mr. Ziglar said, "You are what you are and where you are because of what is going on in your mind." You can change what you are and where you are by changing what goes in your mind. Then physical. And so if we don't have the energy, if we're not taking care of ourselves, then we're not going to be able to perform at the highest level. We're not going to be able to be there with our for our family. And then of course family. There's no amount of business success that compensates for failure at home. So family comes first, then career, because as Mr. Ziegler also taught us, when we have the support of our family, we're going to do better out there in the marketplace. He called that the home court advantage. And so then career, and that's typically where your income is going to come from. And then personal, if you're financially successful, then you're probably going to have a pretty good personal life.
That's wonderful. You are absolutely right. And of course, we don't want to give our entire book away, but you give a great sneak peek of the book, Phenomenal Marketing. I'm going to encourage anyone of you watching right now, gotta learn the cash flow. As a Christian, it's important to,
That's right.
understand money. Money is influence. If you're sitting there and wondering like why we always being bombarded, why do we have to shop the places we don't want to support? And you got to understand money and understand how money works, and a lot of the money that is like has been stored up, like a lot of the decisions, lobbyists and all these places, they're changing laws and everything. It's all happening with, here's the money, and transactions are happening, and then you come up with a law that you don't like, and whether it's in the schools or in the White House,
Yeah.
but here, let me ask you the final question as we're
Yeah.
coming to the close of our show. How
Sure.
can I make $1 million?
Well, I'm actually doing a presentation in Nashville next week to a bunch of coaches how to build $1 million coaching business. And here's the answer: you get one client to pay you $1 million. So I have a coach, a colleague who has an account that pays her. It's a municipality, pays her 1.6 million for the year. Okay. You could get 50 clients at 20,000. You get 100 clients at 10,000, or you could get 200 clients at 5,000. So here's the question: what's the value of the problem that you solve? To me, the best way to make $1 million, the best way to become a millionaire or multimillionaire, if that's what you're called to do, is to have a business. Even if you have a job, have a side business. I mean, the first business that I started, I still own today. It's a multi-million-dollar business. That business cares for um, Oriental rugs, natural stone floors for some of Houston's most prominent citizens, celebrities. George and Barbara Bush were clients before they passed away right here in Houston. And I started that business out of the trunk of my car. Today, it's a multi-million-dollar business.
Wow.
It runs without me. Okay. And so there's all kinds of different businesses you could do. Network
Okay.
marketing, service business. So I recommend having a business and then being smart with your money. Okay. Um, being smart with your money. I'm going to write a book one of these days called
Yes.
Phenomenal
Smart.
Profits.
Phenomenal profits. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Howard. I appreciate you. As we coming to the end of our show, and I'm sure that those who are watching right now, we have a worldwide audience right now watching. Somebody's put down below this video. They're saying they're watching from Zambia. I was like, wow, that's amazing. You
Yeah.
know, sitting here all the way, but uh, anybody's out there that are in the United States or even overseas, if you want to order the book, you can get it from Amazon, or if you want to sign up for the courses. I really enjoyed this conversation with Howard, and I'm sure you will enjoy as well by getting into the course. So thank you so
You
much,
bet.
Howard. Looking forward to doing this again, and have a beautiful day, everyone.